All right, we are now getting into the complicated part of Princess of Crows, where we have gotten past my ejector seat ending and into where I picked up the story again months later without the original manuscript to reference. So things get a little wibbly wobbly, timey wimey. But we begin. Princess of Crows by Scribbler Johnny. Mike waited in the darkness. A bottle poofed beside his right hand. A note written in Japanese was underneath. It read, "Favor for a favor. This sauce comes at a high risk of my princess's wrath. You know what I want, sexy human. I will collect at my convenience. Be ready and be enthusiastic." He sighed. Was human dick so good? Agreed, Shizu, he said out loud, holding her feather. It crumbled to dust. He poured the teriyaki sauce liberally over his meal, and then hid the bottle behind some of his books on the shelf. He scarfed down his meal voraciously, even licking the bowl and plate clean. He set everything back onto the tray, including the chopsticks. He said, "Gochiso-sama deshita," and clapped once to indicate he was done with the meal. A Japanese woman with tan skin and medium height poofed into the room and then began to kiss him. He assumed it was Shizu in human form and kept his promise. He returned her kisses with enthusiasm. She squeezed his butt and slid her tongue into his mouth. "Oh, yes, I like you. I will collect in full later, Mike," Shizu resumed, Tengu form, and then carried his tray, poofing away. It had not been unpleasant, but so many yokai treated him like a sex object. It made him empathize with human women. His room was once again completely dark. He climbed into bed and drifted to sleep. He dreamed of that other world. Karen Jackson, holding one of Mike's t-shirts, comforted to have his scent with her as she lay in bed. She sent a text message to Whispers. "I thought for sure he was back. What can we do? The VA doesn't want to keep him at that hospital. They want to send him to the old soldiers' home." Whispers replied, "It's been a few days. There's still brain activity. I can't give up if there's still hope." "Right," Karen replied. A bluebird of happiness emoji sent from Whispers. "Did he still have feelings for you recently?" Karen sent. "I never wanted to hurt you, Karen. Please believe this, and yes, I know he still loves me," came the reply with a weeping emoji. "I'm past it, girl. I can share. I just wish he hadn't tried to hide it from me. I mean, our relationship isn't perfect, so I understand why he reached out to you. We both reached out to you. You're a good friend and a good person, Nancy." "Whispers is cuter," Whispers replied. Karen smiled and bid her friend good night. Mr. Bojangles came purring up to her and rewarded her suffering with his presence, but he demanded her attention by headbutting her phone. She pet Mike's cat. Bojangles would always be Mike's cat. "Please come back, Mike. We all miss you," she whispered, and she tried to sleep. Bojangles snuggled close and purred. They slept. Mike awoke with an idea. He had to find the other Mike, and then he couldn't go to the other world, and Karen, who looked so much like Kurama, wouldn't be sad anymore without her husband. He looked, and his bedroom window was clear once more. Mike showered in a hurry, pausing to admire the photo of the mid-air lovemaking. That was a hell of a thing. He was at the table in time for breakfast. Fushin, Lilia, and Kurama greeted him warmly. Hildy was nowhere to be seen, but that was not unusual. Breakfast was hot and delicious, and Mike intoned "Itadakimasu," I humbly receive, before eating. Civilizing influence, Susa? Well done, Kurama exclaimed. They ate and they talked about the tenuous peace with the Tanuki Federation. Right, the conference was a short while ago for you, Mike said. Yes, Mike, remember my warnings about Tanuki women? They were insatiable in all the worst ways. Ah, and you're insatiable in the good way? He teased. Damn right, she replied with a smile. He barely has any left for poor me after you and Whisper are done with him, Fushin complained, but smiling. It's good to be princess, what can I say? Lilia rolled her eyes and smiled. You say poor Fushin. I say poor Mike. He's not a machine, you know. Could have fooled me, but I'm not mad at him. His passion is a bonus, hey, Kurama said. You're so much more cheerful today, Fushin observed. We have reached a new level, Mike and I. Eiji, with Shizu's help, cleared away the dishes. And who is that, Tengu? I don't know them, Mike asked. Oh, that's Shizu. She's Susa's good-for-nothing niece. I gave her a job as a favor, Kurama answered, and dismissed the subject. But then she looked hard at Mike. Mike, need I say? No fucking the help, Mike replied. Kurama laughed. The opposite, actually. You can have her any time you want. Just don't go around with women who count, because that's cheating. No princesses or other nobility. Clear as the love in your eyes, Kurama, he replied glibly. He's getting good, Lilia said. Sweet talk that way, and I might throw you one, and even resuscitate you after. Mike laughed, but his eyes were very tense. You tease. Kurama, tell her not to tease me like that. We already had the Kopafilski talk. Kurama smiled. Lilia is a law unto herself, Mike, so you be careful. Mike blushed. Lilia is my friend, he recited. The Rusalka extended her hand. Truce, she said. Mike reached to take her hand. Truce, he agreed. Her hand was warm. He blinked. If I concentrate, she explained. He nodded, but he was shaken. And he mentally reminded himself, Lilia is a lesbian. But she wasn't always, a voice inside him insisted. And the water makes her into a super sex goddess. It's a trap, voice in my head, he argued with himself. But outwardly, he released her hand with a shy smile and excused himself to go to his bedroom. Closing the door, he turned around to see pulling open a robe. My lady's consort? I must obey his demands, she said, feigning hesitance. Indeed you must, Mike said, stumbling and then realizing the role he had to play. Shizu was not pretty, like her princess, and also petite, but Mike kept his bargain, ready and enthusiastic as promised. Shizu collapsed onto her stomach on his bed and gasped, Lord Mike, I will never hesitate if you should ask again, she said, especially if you do that thing with your finger. A clitoris is a fine thing, is it not? Mike replied, laying beside her. Humans are Better than I expected, Shizu admitted. We have our good points. She rolled over to face him. May I have one more kiss, my lord? She asked. Mike shook his head. You are not to fall in love with me. I am not for you, he said, feigning a harsh rebuke. Shizu giggled and gave him a kiss anyway. Don't you fall in love with me. I'm your servant. She kissed him again. Oh, my lord, I would do sex with you forever if I could. You make me feel like a dirty Nekojin. Mike grinned. I am immune to flattery, he said seriously. Again with the Nekojin bashing. Off with you before we get in trouble. We both have work to do. Yes, sir, she replied mockingly and dressed herself. She pressed a silk handkerchief with her name embroidered on it into his hand, and she gave him one more smile. My lord, I want you to keep this, a small token of my affection, a secret. Oh, please order me to stay, she asked. You and I both have work, he replied. Not as immune as he had supposed, and she knew it. She smiled in triumph. Yes, my lord, emphasizing that he was hers. Tengu were dangerous. Her yellow eyes gleamed, and she strutted out his door, swinging her hips, narrow as they were. Mike dressed, leaving Shizu's scent upon him, thinking that it was expected. And he went to study location magic, which was within the province of wind, which was the only magic he felt an affinity with so far. He studied a ritual to reach beyond the veil between worlds to contact a sympathetic person. What more sympathetic person could there be than his other selves? This would prove simple, he hoped. He would need materials that had sympathetic resonance, and he wasn't sure what that meant. So he called out, Susa, my teacher, please attend me. Susa appeared and kneeled. Please rise, sensei, Mike requested. Susa mockingly obliged him. So, my student, what do you require of me? Susa, what is meant here by sympathetic resonance? Susa nodded. That refers to objects, if they be intangible or physical, that resonate harmoniously between the spellcaster and the spell target. For example, if a Tengu gives you a feather from their own body, it has great resonance, because it is a gift to you of their own body. A feather that simply molted or was stolen would have much lesser resonance. Mike nodded. And what would an intangible object be? He asked. Susa clapped. Good boy, good question. You tell me. Let me see if you are correct in your surmising. Mike thought. Tengu could take anything, and he was essentially a Tengu changeling now. So he could too, maybe. A lion's roar? A kiss? Mike asked. Very good. Remind me to tell you the story of when Kurama's mother stole a starling song for her own one of these days. I'll leave you to your studies. Susa pecked him affectionately on the arm, and then left, flying out his window, which was still closed. Mike noticed Shizu's favor and hid the handkerchief in his underwear drawer. He saw that his favorite boxers, the Ghost Rider ones, were missing. He had to laugh. Tengu. He knew he wouldn't shake off Shizu easily. He closed his drawer and dressed for work, wearing his suit and then his driving gloves and his hat. He walked over to Hildy's closed bedroom door and gave a knock. He was phased through the door to stand before Hildy, still wearing that Greek dress she had been wearing before. The skeleton lowered her hands. Hildy, I never wanted to hurt you. I do love you, but you know that marriage between us can't work, he said. Oh, by the way, that pulling me through the door thing, please don't do that. Hildy sobbed, putting her face into her hands. I want to try. Is that so wrong? You're special, she said between the sobs that shook her bones. Mike held her. Hildy, I can love you for who you are, but marriage? Marriage is a serious commitment to mortals. You think I don't know? I've seen uncountable marriage and wedding dreams. I know all about it. She stood to hold him. Mike, I don't have a heart, but I know what love is. I know it. Mike kissed her forehead. See? I know that you love me. God help me, I do, Mike admitted. Oh, don't start crying and get tears on your suit. Hildy fussed and wiped his face clean with a tissue. I forgive you, Mike. You're afraid. I understand that. I know all about fear. How was that nightmare, by the way? Hildy, that one went too far. Giving Whisper a bigger penis than me? She giggled. I'm bad, I know. Mike left, opening the door to wait in the living room. He read one of Hildy's fashion magazines. Denim was out again, and earth tones were in again. Whisper appeared in a gust of wind and kissed his ear with her proboscis. Hi, Mike. Looking good, my love. Do you love me? He asked her. Well, yes, but you probably mean more devotion than I do with the word. We butterflies are not prone to monogamy or even long-term relationships. Mike nodded sadly. For what it's worth, right now, I love you with easily 70% of my love, she said. Butterflies. Kurama entered wearing her business suit. Mike, do you still have that invitation from Queen Abeja? She asked. He nodded and then shook his head. I thought that you told me to throw it away. Kurama nodded. Good. We want it now. Mike sighed. You can reclaim it. Use the reclamation spell. Yes, my love, he said and took off his jacket. He closed his eyes and loosened his tie and gathered his will. He imagined the invitation, remembered holding it in his hand, remembered the colors, the scent of the paper. It had been perfumed. It smelled like honeysuckle. Cast off gift, return to me, he said, calling upon the wind to return what was his. Return to me. You are mine. The wind blew gently. The invitation pressed into his chest. Thank you, winds. We are friends for always, he said. And he held the invitation for Kurama to inspect. I want Whisper to be your date to the party, she said, pushing it back to him. You will spy her hive out for me, make nice, and bed her. Then you will give her this gift. Kurama held out a paper-wrapped box. May I ask what it is? He asked. You may not. It is from me to Abeja. Mike nodded. He looked at the invitation. Will she try to eat me? He asked idly. Bees don't do that. She'll just try to enslave your will. I believe that between you and Whisper you'll return safely, Kurama replied softly. The party was in 4 days. Will her drones trouble me? He asked. She won't allow them to, hence your invitation. Her daughters went out recruiting. Mike nodded. We're going to go to the golf garden. You will be my caddy, and you will tell a bee that you have an RSVP. They drove to the golf garden, and they changed together in the unisex changing room. An elderly woman admired Mike's body openly and gave him an approving thumbs up, inviting his gaze as well. Mike blushed and hurried to put on his black and gold caddy outfit. Kurama and Whisper dressed, pretending that they did not notice the silent exchange. Their golf clothes looked exactly like tennis clothes to Mike's ignorant gaze. The grounds were the most lush and manicured garden Mike had ever seen. The older woman from before tucked a paper into his pocket as she passed. Mike kept it a secret. No need to drag Kurama into a confrontation over him. He could handle himself sometimes. They walked over to where they would tee off. Automatic tees raised up to accept Kurama and Whisper's balls. Mike looked around for bees. He saw a few in a cluster of flowers to his left. Come, friend bee, come to me, he whispered. Two of them beezed over to circle his head. He's our friend, he's our friend, they repeated. Please tell Queen Abeja that Mike Marshall of Princess Kurama's household will attend her party with a guest. We'll tell, they said and flew away. He's pretty, I like him, one of them said. Mike set down the golf bags and looked at the paper from his pocket. It read, Meet me at the willow by the 4th hole. I'm all greased up for you. Call me Betty. He shuddered and crumpled the paper. He couldn't see a trash can. Stupid golf courses. The golf garden was not a challenging or competitive course, rather a contemplative place to enjoy the garden and relax one's way through 9 holes. He put the paper back in his pocket and shouldered the golf bags. Kurama and Whisper each gave him a peck on the cheek when they put their clubs away. He trudged along behind them, surprised at how heavy 2 golf bags could be. Whisper was bursting with joy. So many flowers! I never tasted some of these, she enthused. Kurama smiled at her spy-made best friend. Whisper is in heaven, Kurama remarked. There at the 4th hole, Mike excused himself to politely turn down the lady. He was a gentleman and could not simply ignore her offer. He found Betty under the branches of the weeping willow. He saw she had rings around her eyes. Hello, Betty, he said, suspicious. Hello, dear. What shall I call you? I love to call out my lover's name, she said. The rings were bigger now, and her belly began to get a bit big, too. Mike, but I have to tell you, I don't fuck Tanuki. She gasped, and then a plump raccoon in golf clothes was standing before him. I was so good. Your Tengu mistress taught you well. Mike bowed. The dentures were an excellent touch, he said graciously. Wait, she said as he backed away. Just a quickie. No. As I said, I do not fuck Tanuki. Princess commands it. Never turn your back on a Tanuki. She frowned. One of these times, one of us will get you. Mike grinned. But not today. He rejoined his women. Silly raccoons, he said, pointing towards the willow tree. Kurama kissed him. I believed in you. You did well, she said. The bee said that I was pretty, Mike said. It's because you're wearing our colors and they like them, Kurama explained. Whisper was busy sipping the nectar to the side of the green and waving her hands happily. Butterflies. Kurama, am I handsome? He asked. You're a good match for me, she replied. And it was all the answer he needed. He was good looking among crows. Oh, that was all right, wasn't it? The game resumed. They had a concession stand lunch of panini sandwiches and iced green tea. Mike sipped from a plastic straw and made eyes at Whisper, pretending that he was a butterfly. She smiled at the game and blew him a kiss. Literally. The breeze smelled of her perfume, and he felt her moist lips upon his cheek. He then had an idea. He could resonate with the other Mike with his love's kiss. Kurama was the mirror image of Karen. One sympathetic object of great resonance down. He smiled and asked Kurama about his theory and what she thought. She nodded. I don't want you to leave, so I encourage you to return that other Mike to his women. She gave his hand a small kiss, and then she looked at his fingers and almost kissed his fingertips, as Karen Jackson had done, and as she had done that other time when he felt himself drifting and pulling to the other world. But she did not kiss his fingertips. Have I told you today how pleased I am with you, my vassal? My own, my one, my Michael. He took her hand, and it was chilly from the ice. Do you still love me? He asked. Yes, Mike. Yes. I am your princess, she said, emphasizing the possessive. Her yellow eyes sparkled. They didn't bother recording their scores. Betty the Tanuki was there again in the changing room when they returned. I must salute how well you have trained and disciplined your vassal, Princess Kurama, she said, wearing her plump human shape, with a towel around her neck and nothing else. Kurama bowed slightly. Whisper opened her fan to cover her face. My mistress thanks you, she said softly. Betty flinched, insulted. You do not address me directly, Kurama? She asked, stiffening. Mike looked to Kurama, hoping that she would be diplomatic. Forgive my servant. She's used to being my mouthpiece and was over-eager to perform her duty. Butterflies, am I right? She replied, appealing to reason, but her smile was mocking, not conciliatory. Betako, I want peace and friendship with the Tanuki Federation. It is time to unite for the common good, Kurama said. Betako nodded. Perhaps a dinner, you and I and our vassals? This will allow us to know each other better and to have pleasant interactions. Kurama's voice was as smooth as butter now. The Tanuki noble bowed. You were unaware I have no mortal vassal? Kurama begged forgiveness for her presumption. I accept your invitation. Bring your man. I find him charming. Certainly, Lady Batako. Good fortune to you and yours. The Tanuki woman smiled at Mike. He tore his eyes away from her bosom and smiled politely. Betako went to the shower stalls. Mike, whispered Whisper. He looked at Whisper, his eyebrow quirked. You may be ordered to flirt with the Tanuki and seduce her. Can you do this? Mike took a breath and then nodded. As my princess commands. Kurama nodded and then jerked her head toward the showers. He flinched. He hadn't expected it to be now. Still, he stripped and quickly carried a black towel toward the shower stalls. There was only one in use. He hung his towel on a peg, and he slipped in behind Betako, who was facing the curtain with her eyes closed. Mike swallowed. He did find her body appealing, and the reported lust of Tanuki women intrigued him, and so he concentrated on these things. But his mind was also conflicted, because at the same time he did not like being used, but he wanted to be loyal. He swore to Kurama's service. He reached out and embraced Lady Betako. "Soft, soft," he said in a whisper. She blinked and took him into her arms. "I knew you liked me. You need a real woman, not your twig princess," she purred. She turned her back to him. "My body is ready," she said. Mike performed his duty. He panted into her ear, feigning a passion that he didn't really feel. And he also feigned having lost his strength. "Lady Betako," he gasped. She flushed, even down her back. "Come away with me. I'll get Kurama to release you." "I cannot. I swore, and I am honorable." "Oh, but Mike, wouldn't you rather have this every day? Thrice daily? I can do it. Can she? Does she have a fraction of my strength?" "Lady Betako, you know the truth." She faced him, grinning victoriously. "I will make you strong, like Tanuki are. Oh, my relatives will adore you and take you in as one of their own," she promised. "And I will let you raise my children. Imagine you as the patriarch of your own Tanuki clan." Her eyes showed intensity, but the rings around them made her appearance comical. Still, he did envision himself playing with children, his children, a whole clan to be his family. And then he remembered Kurama's warning, passed from matriarch to matriarch like a toy, used up. He shook his head. "I know what your relatives would do with me." And he left. "Wait, Mike." She was misty-eyed. "There are hateful rumors about us, just like there are with Tengu. Don't judge me by what others have done or said." Mike gave a curt nod. "That I can do. I will see you at the dinner. Please, if it is not presumptuous, wear something that shows off those amazing soft breasts of yours." He dried off and hurried away, hating himself for exactly what they all seemed to think he was, a life support system for his gonads. In the car, driving toward home, Whisper asked, "What took you so long?" "Big boobs. I was paying attention to them," Mike answered bitterly. "I hear the poison in your voice. Don't turn it inward, Mike. You are a good man." "I don't feel like one." "Mike, do you want to know what happened to Betako's last vassal?" After some thought, he said, "Tell me." "He was put to stud and then eaten. He was roasted alive over coals in the forest of Aokigahara. The one they call the suicide forest?" Whisper hummed agreement. "Is this the complete truth?" Mike demanded. "His children also ate him," she admitted. "That's evil." "It is the yokai life. Humans are to be used. Kurama is a saint compared to a kitsune. I know what foxes do to humans, he said, feeling sick. Will Our Lady demand that I continue to seduce Tanuki? Whisper smiled hatefully. You will be a weapon against them, like all of us. You will break their women's hearts, and their men will send a champion to get vengeance. And then you will destroy their champion. Then they will yield the best lands in Canada to the Tengu. Kurama will become queen, and you the royal consort. A king, Mike. And you? I will have land for my own people. I will be a princess in my own right. And you, dear Mike, will still get to see me almost every day, Whisper promised. Will you still love me? Mike asked. That I cannot promise. I'm a butterfly. I won't apologize for what I am. Mike swallowed. Was this life worth the price? Kurama and Hildy and Fushin love you too, she added. Yes, but I have to teach them how to love me the way I need. I need stability and security, Whisper nodded. Have you reconsidered the Nekojin maid so you can have a child that you can keep? Mike sighed. It's still against my ethics. But I do want to meet a Nekojin so that I can learn about what they're really like. They're cats, Mike. You already know what they're like. Lazy, selfish, affectionate, gluttonous, aloof. Mike nodded. If Shizu laid an egg or two, could I keep one of them? He asked. No, Mike, they would be raised by the uncles. It is the way Tengu live. This has been explained to you. Mike took the car, and then he pressed the autopilot button, and he began to weep. He took a tissue from Whisper's outstretched hand and dabbed at his eyes. I like our household, and my place in it, he began, knowing that Kurama heard his words. But I am torn. Hildy loves me with the tenderness and the devotion that I need, but I cannot give what I need to give her physically and to receive from her physically. Kurama, Whisper, and Fushin, you all meet my physical needs. Very well, I must say. But emotionally and mentally, you leave me a wreck. Things cannot continue on this course. Something has to change. Whisper took Mike's hand, and she held up her fan. Mike, I promise to consider your feelings. You know I will love you for your whole life. At least I hope you do. I'm not certain of that. I'm a tool, Mike countered. Mike, you are a servant. You are beloved. You must be used to your full potential and benefit to the household, to the courts. It is not mutually exclusive with being loved and valued, Whisper replied, whispering Kurama's words. She lowered the fan. Just because I may not love you next year does not mean that I don't love you now, speaking her own words. Mike crushed her with a kiss filled with need. Reassure me, he begged. Tell me my place is secure and that I belong. The divider window vanished in a wink, and Kurama called out, Come to me, Mike. Let me hold you right now. Mike obeyed, scrambling and falling into Kurama's lap. She grunted in some pain, but helped him to get situated. Oh, Mike, she said. She made his name sound like an apology and an endearment all at once. You belong here in my arms. If my enemies surround me, if you are between their weapons and me, I will die happy. I believe in you. It is my joy to believe in you. There has been no one like you, so full of love, seeing beauty in everyone, even me. I am ugly, but you see beauty in me, Kurama said, holding him and letting him feel her strength. We've had this talk before, and I don't think you're beautiful. I see you for what you are, and I love you in spite of yourself. Mike replied, Tell me who I am, Mike. Mike kissed her. You are hot-tempered, vengeful, calculating, grasping, jealous, affectionate, sweet, generous, vain, graceful, ambitious, sexy, fierce, and loyal. Kurama kissed him. You have paid attention and given it to me clean. Thank you. Go buy some new clothes for the stupid bee's party. Take Whisper. Be nice to my spy. Buy her an ice cream and get her some clothes for her human shape. Let the bees see you with her so that it's believable, Kurama instructed and stepped out of the car. They were already in the parking garage. Is that all? Mike asked, leaning against his seat. I have some work to do, Mike. Do I need to say some sweet nothing before you go? No, Princess, you do not, he replied. He pulled the door shut. Kurama wanted to. Well, she was conflicted, and Mike could tell. He would not make it easy on her, though. He stepped out of the opposite door and resumed his place in the driver's seat. Can you replace the window, Whisper? He asked. She shook her head. She closed her eyes and changed her shape into Ukyo, the plump human alter ego she had developed. Her pink hair turned to the red of poppies. Her clothes changed to a sundress that fit her curvier frame. She opened her eyes, which were fully human. Long time no see, Mike, Ukyo said. For me, yeah. Let's go shopping for some clothes and some ice cream, he replied. He felt a bit hard as he said it, and he apologized at what he heard in his voice. I'm angry at Kurama, not you. Ukyo smiled. We're going on a real date. Do you realize that? She laughed with joy and spread her arms wide. A date! Her glee was spreading into him. We really are. It's nice, he replied as he drove. So, where? FAO Schwartz? J. Crew? I don't know this crap. Ukyo directed him to a store that he had never heard of. In fact, its storefront showed no name at all, but an image of a chandelier. They walked in hand. When they entered, the air conditioning was so cold it was like a wall that hit them and made it obvious that Ukyo was not wearing a bra. A man was playing a Moog synthesizer in a corner near the entrance, and he was playing an arrangement that resembled the Babylon 5 theme song. The store was bigger on the inside. A woman wearing drab clothing approached them. Her eyes were bird-like, and so were her movements. She greeted them with a raucous shout. Good day! I will make you glorious if you have the courage and the money to let me work my magic. Mike nodded at her. Princess Kurama, he said. No, I am not her, and neither are you, the woman replied. I'm Kurama's vassal. She is buying your magic. Work it for me, please, Mike explained. Very well. You look like a limo driver, she shouted. Can you speak more softly? Ukyo asked. I can't help it, the bird-like clerk replied. Sometimes I just gotta raise my voice. A male clerk looked at Mike as if he were something he'd stepped in. His clothes were shimmering in shifted colors, and his eyes also darted like a bird's. And then Mike understood. You're a peacock, aren't you? He asked. Peahen, she corrected, and then she led him towards a rack of shirts. Mike apologized. I trust you will make the best choice, he said. She laughed. That was almost an intelligent statement, human. How do you like this shirt? It is your color, and the neckline shows your collarbone and chest without being trashy, she shouted. I like it. What's your name? He asked. My name is Whooping. Hold the shirt. We will get you some pants, she said, and then her voice went normal right at the end. What kind of pants, Whooping? Ukyo asked. Cargo pants are back in. Mike liked cargo pants. She even gave him some shoes and a hat to try on. Mike decided against the hat and chose some sunglasses that had blue lenses. They paid with the company credit card and loaded the clothes into the back of the car. Mike then took Ukyo to an ice cream parlor. He chose a cone of rocky road. Ukyo got a banana split. And as is tradition, they shared their ice cream with each other. Ukyo, do you like cartoons? Mike asked. I like very imaginative TV shows. I don't like those slice of life type shows, she gave a reply. I'm ambivalent about slice of life shows. I like that they don't end with everything resolved, but I also don't like that sometimes the genre is used as an excuse for meandering and badly written plots, Mike replied. Ukyo nodded at this. And most of the time, nothing happens, she added. Somehow the conversation then changed to harem comedies. Most of the time, calling them harem shows is a false statement. They're just shows with only one male lead and one female lead, and then the supporting cast happens to be mostly women. A true harem would be something like Ranma One Half, because at least he's engaged to most of the female cast, Mike said. Kind of like your life, Ukyo said. I hadn't thought of it that way, Mike marveled. Weird. So be happy. There are men who would give body parts for your life. Mike considered this. Beats my old life, he admitted. They finished their ice cream, and Mike laughed a little as he thought about things. Magical girlfriend harem drama, Kurama's New Vassal, starring Whisper. Ukyo smiled. Would you watch that show? I'd watch anything you were in, he replied. Well, good. I made some movies that I'm not very proud of. Really? Oh, just a joke, but, we'll say Evil Octopus, but rated G, so it was mostly dull. Seems a waste, a G-rated horror movie. Really hard to make it work. She nodded thoughtfully, and then she laughed, unable to keep up the pretense for her joke. They noticed some honeybees as they were sitting on the cafe chairs. Mike kissed Ukyo's hand. I'm going to a party, and I'd like you to be my guest, he said, for the benefit of the bees. Oh, thank you, Mike. I'd love to go, Ukyo exclaimed. Great. I'll take you home, and then we'll go together in my boss's car. Cool, she said with a grin. Mike opened the car door for her before entering himself. They rolled up the windows, and they sang along with the music that played. Ukyo followed Mike to his bedroom. She kissed him hungrily. She then stopped and looked at his bed. Mike, who is that? She asked. Mike looked around. Who? And then he saw there was a photo of a black-haired human woman on his pillow. Mike stared. That's an actress named Michelle Yeoh. I don't know why it's on my pillow. I didn't ask for it, Mike explained, feeling very confused. Ukyo picked up the photo. There's no note or autograph on the back, at least. Mike took it from her hand and then set it on his desk. Seriously, though, why? I mean, she's a good actress and she does good stunts, but I never talk about her. Ukyo picked up the photo again. I smell spying stink, she said, and then tore the photo to pieces and threw the pieces into his toilet and flushed. By the way, when did you get a private bathroom? From my period of reprimand, Mike replied and closed his bedroom door. They lay down on his bed and began to kiss and hold each other. Ukyo rolled atop Mike. Do you like the feel of my weight on you? She asked. Yes, I'm completely comfortable, he replied. She lay on his chest. There's a space between our hearts now. I can feel it. Knowing your love has an expiration date will do that. Why can't you just embrace the present? She pouted. I won't apologize for what I am, he replied. Using my words, that's mean. Not only your words. Poor Mike, Ukyo said. We aren't treating you shabbily, you know. Indeed. I get plenty of food, a nice room, more sex than I want, and a bit of love. Grand promises and gestures, but very little stability or appreciation. What man could truly complain? It would be ungrateful. Ukyo sighed. I'm not getting laid today. She gave Mike a goodbye kiss and then climbed off of him. So you're just going now that you decided that? Am I just a dick to you? Mike shouted. Oh, God, I sound like a woman on some awful TV drama. He rolled over and then pulled a pillow over his face. I'm acting like one, too, his muffled voice shouted, and then he cursed some more. Ukyo transformed into Whisper and left him. Humans. Mike began to wonder if taking that other Mike's life might be worth it. There'd be no magic, but a wife, a normal-ish life. And before he realized it, dinner time had come. Mike went to the dining room to wait. He seated Kurama when she came to the table, and also Fushin and Lilia. Whisper did not stay for dinner that day. Fushin reached her toes to caress Mike's leg under the table. Mama needs it, she whispered. Mike sighed and nodded. During the meal, they discussed Queen Abeja's party, and the notion that Mike might get future invitations, thus involving the household once more into the yokai social scene. And why did that stop? Mike asked. One of your predecessors was seduced by a monster, Kurama answered. His death wounded me deeply, and no one had any sympathy for my loss. Will you tell me? Mike asked, taking her hand. She held his hand firmly, taking strength from his presence. There exist monsters with very long tongues that eat filth and dirt, she explained, licking up bathroom tiles and such. Mike nodded. One of those licked my vassal under his pants at a party in front of many of my so-called friends. They thought it was quite the entertainment. She licked his bones clean. Kurama began to weep. I was prevented from intervening by my host, a dog yokai named Yoshi. He paid me some gold for the price of my servant. Kurama dried her tears. But you will not allow anything like that to happen. You are strong and cold. I will protect you if I can, but I am confident you will handle yourself. Kurama smiled after saying this. How proud you make me, Mike Marshall, the soldier, wielder of Regicide. Mike smiled at her praise, and she made him sound like he was a hero, not a gigolo with a sword breaker. He supposed he could be both. And Betako? Mike asked. That dinner will be at a neutral place, Mike. There will be mortals everywhere, I promise. Mike nodded, relieved. Lilia asked, Are we making nice with the Tanuki, too? Isn't Betako one of our enemies? Kurama replied, We have plans to disarm the Tanuki Federation and make them our subjects. Our treaty in Canada is only part of the plan. Betako is positively smitten with our Mike, and he likes his women roly-poly. He'll crush her heart, and then he'll destroy her brother on the field of honor. Her clan will become our bondsmen, and they will yield land to us and tribute. Kurama tightened her grip. Mike is the key to our victory. Lilia looked at Mike, perhaps the one who understood him best at that table. Mike doesn't like hurting people, Lilia said. He can obey orders. He knows we're at war, Fushin countered. He can speak for himself, Mike interjected. I am a soldier, but I don't like hurting people. But Betako is a man-eating monster. Her whole clan give Tanuki a bad name. I feel no shame at destroying and suppressing them. Kurama crowed triumphantly. Yes, that's my man! When I am queen, you will be my royal consort. Do you promise? Mike asked. Yes, be my king, Kurama said. I will always say yes, he replied. And you remember your promise, Mike advised. Now, at bee parties, there will be much drunkenness and debauchery expected. As for Abeja herself, she is attractive in a way, very round hips, and her sting is hidden in her wrist in her human form, Kurama said, changing the subject. Mike noticed her blink a signal at him that meant agreement. He didn't worry about the promise being formalized. I should go with Mike to the party, Lilia said. I will know if he's been enchanted or otherwise compromised. So we'll whisper, and she has a disguise established and recognized by the bees, Kurama replied, considering the matter closed. I'm better for extraction, Lilia countered. It has been decided, Lilia, Kurama stated firmly. Lilia stared hard at the Tengu. I may find my own way to that party, she said. Kurama shrugged. Please yourself, Lili. Fushin just kept licking her lips at Mike. Mama needs it bad, she rumbled, and her eyes flashed. Kurama sighed in mock exasperation. Mike, Fushin gets first bath tonight when you're ready. Mike nodded. He had missed the bathing during his long-time training. It was a growing closer, and a bit of an equalizer. He could not remember what it had been like the last time he had bathed Fushin. Was she going to be playful? Would she just pounce on him and use her power to make him ready for sex immediately? Mike finished his meal and smiled at Lilia. She was the only one who wanted nothing for him but his friendship. Mike expressed his gratitude for the meal and then excused himself to prepare for bath time. He carried a towel to the bathroom and left his clothes in his bedroom. Lilia stopped him. "Planning to become a naturist like me?" she asked. Mike shook his head. "I like clothes, but I'm getting more comfortable with my nakedness than I was before. Training with only males around made me less shy." She gave him a high five. "Will you be okay when it's my turn?" she asked with a smile. "I think so, but I am still afraid of you," he admitted. And then Hildy hugged him from behind, making him jump. You are so beautiful, Michael," Hildy said. Mike leaned back into the skeleton's embrace. "Love you too, Hildy," he said. Lilia smiled at this. Hildy released him, and Mike readied the bath, adding a bit of the bath salts. The fragrance was feminine and somehow therapeutic for him. Mike's worries and grievances began to melt away. Fushin entered while he turned on some music, using a wall-mounted control panel. "Play number 6, lover," Fushin purred. He pressed the button and the sound of rain and thunder filled the bathroom. Fushin dimmed the light. Mike turned to face her, his friend, his goddess. "Mike," she said, "is it okay for me to love you?" "I will always say yes," he replied, and he helped her to undress. Fushin kissed him and then held his chin, studying him, like she had a year ago, at least to his reckoning. "You have more scars now," she remarked. "I do. I earned them," he replied. She caressed a long one down the side of his chest and gave it a kiss. "Sousa did something and his wing sliced me," Mike explained. But then Fushin was kneeling, and she was kissing a puckered scar below his navel. "Throwing spike," he said. "I adore your scars," she said. "Now you're like me." The goddess kneeling to him allowed him to see her adoration. "Kneel with me," she urged. "Give me a bite." "I don't want to hurt you," Mike insisted. "I've never loved you more. You defy me out of love." Fushin closed her eyes. "Now worship me. I am the thunder in your ears. I am the wind in your eyes. I am the heat in your blood," she whispered. "I will not," Mike insisted, and then he pulled her to her feet. "It is time for your bath, Thunder Goddess." Fushin pulled Mike in for a kiss. "Why will you not worship me?" she asked. "You're my friend," he said. She laughed and kissed him again. She stepped into the bath and then licked her lips, looking up at him. He studied her green olive skin, her hanging mohawk, her scars. "I like the bath salts," she added. And then she yanked him into the cold water with her. Her mighty magic overcame the cold water, and Mike made wild love to the storm kami. In her embrace he did not have to feign the slump. Her muscles were a comfort to him, and an inspiration to his passion, both. He kissed an X-shaped scar over her breast. "Mustn't forget to wash me, lover," she purred as the thunder rolled in the speakers. It caused her to tremble in passion. "Yes," she exulted. "Susano ain't got shit on me." And she squeezed Mike. "Oh, I love you so much. Thank you for loving me." And then she drummed on his back with her palms. Mike pulled softly away and washed her while remaining in the water with her. He somehow knew that she wanted him to stay close. She rinsed clean by submersing herself completely, and she kissed his body while submerged and blew bubbles to tickle him. She bumped the drain lever by accident and growled in annoyance. It's better in nature anyway. Rain check for a camping trip of wild passion and marshmallows, melty chocolate, and dry ramen. I call them Fushien s'mores. She gave him a farewell kiss and allowed him to dry her with a blow dryer. She did the same for him. More tonight in your bed? He asked. Oh, I can't make a promise now that I think about it. Oh, I'm sorry, he said. I seduced a tanuki already today. Fushien giggled. I know you, Mike. You always have love to spare for me. You may not worship me, but I am your goddess. You chose me. And you chose me, he replied, as she unplugged the dryer. Yes, was all she said as she bundled up her clothing. She gave him a sultry wink and departed the bathroom. Mike rinsed the remaining salt down the drain and refilled the tub with clean water. He added nothing to it, but he lit a scented candle. The scents of cloves and spices filled the air. He had a feeling. And then Lilia joined him with a white towel around her shoulders. The bath isn't quite ready, she observed. Like the candle. Change the music to 4. Mike obliged her. Flute music began to play. She sang softly in what he assumed was Slavic, and she hung her towel on a rack. He knew not to pry into her past, but he asked anyway, "What is that song?" She smiled. "It's an old song about being happy to visit family and thankful to be where you belong. This really is your family, and really is where you belong, even if she wants to weaponize your penis," Lilia said. "I don't mind," Mike replied. "Don't lie to me, Mike. I'm Lilia. I know the truth." Mike sighed. "You're right. Sex is supposed to be loving and fun, not used like a tool to hurt people." "But what can you do? You're bound to her," Lilia replied. Mike nodded. Lilia gave him a hug. He did not cry, but he did lean on her. "I never wanted to be used like this. Protect the household, serve the household, yes. Make women cry? No. Not even Tanuki who eat humans. Don't forget the rape," she said. Mike nodded miserably. "But I'm in this war now. I'm I have her blood in my veins now. I'm part Tengu." Lilia gasped. "During your training year they did that ritual?" she asked. "Yes, I'm not fully human anymore." "You are still human, Mike. That ritual didn't turn you into a Tengu. Just maybe more like a Tengu. You are bound more than ever to her. It's stronger than marriage vows. Do you think she'll marry me?" Lilia, Lilia turned off the faucet. "That I do. She loves you. We all do. You're one of a kind." She soothed. She handed him the soap. "Are you ready?" she asked him seriously. Mike gathered his wits and centered himself. "Now I'm ready." Lilia squeezed his hand. "The mantra," she said, and stepped into the tub. Contact with the water transformed her instantly into what he desired most. She looked down at her body in surprise. She had not become the buxom, plump shape she was used to. She was thin and flat-chested. "Mike," she said, awed. "Mike, your heart has overcome your lust. I look like her." Mike nodded, but then she was herself again. "I learned a lot," Mike replied. "But Mike, my Rusalka nature is not supposed to be able to be manipulated like this." Why am I my normal self? And then she looked into his eyes. Aw, shit. Mike, you are not allowed to fall in love with me. That was our one rule. Remember the mantra? Mike nodded and felt ashamed. I'm sorry, Lilia. She softened. Mike, don't you get enough? I mean, you get extra from outside the household. Why me, too? Mike crouched, and then he leaned back against the sink cupboard. I don't know. One minute you were busty and sexy, and then you looked like her, and then it was you. I'm still a lesbian, Mike. It cannot happen. He heard her emphasis. Now you better start wanting these boobs bigger or smaller right now or else. But she couldn't stay mad. He couldn't help his feelings. It's because I'm going to defy her to watch your ass, she said, struck by epiphany. Loyalty is your kryptonite. But Mike, I don't love you as anything more than a friend. I know it. I'm so stupid. And it's the ultimate juvenile male fantasy. Make a lesbian or a man-hater love you. Lilia's hair floated as if by water currents. Mike, she said firmly, the mantra. I trust you. Mike nodded. Lilia is my friend, he said, emphasizing the word. Lilia has no interest in my dick, he added, changing the script. Lilia laughed at his deviation. But he chanted the rest, exactly. And then she chanted the words with him, mending the bridge once more. After 4 repetitions, Mike grabbed the washcloth and commenced his duty to his friend. She didn't change again, and both of them were troubled by this. It would be a secret between them. Another one. After drying, Lilia did not hug him goodbye. Mike knew the reason. He mentally flogged himself for being a fool. But then Hildy was there, laughing and hugging him, flirty as always. The game of pretending to tickle her with her scrub brush was enough to bring back his smile. But he wondered, what if he was the other Mike? In that other world, he had a wife who looked like Kurama, with a similar name, friends who resembled his household, and here he was living in luxury, eating fantastic food and having lots and lots of sex. Was this some escapist fantasy? Was he so shallow that his escape was a harem? Sure, the relationships all had their issues, and if he was shallow, well, they'd all just give him everything he wanted, right? If this was a fantasy, Lilia would want him too. Hildy would grow a body. Kurama would become his wife, and he would get to raise their children. And he'd give Fushin so much lovin' she'd never ask for more. None of this emotional needs drama. Right? He slumped again, suddenly exhausted, and he couldn't think straight. His eyes were so hazy, fuzzy. Why was he so tired? Hildy screamed for help and dragged him away from the water. And then there was nothing. Scattered images, voices. Drill Sergeant Odom's Brooklyn accent, calling him a knucklehead and telling him to use more oil when cleaning his rifle. His ex, Libby, telling him to sort his life out. Private Connors shooting a dog that was starving and laughing at it. His voice calling Connors a piece of shit. Private Taylor stomping a baby snake to death. Mike saying nothing except to ask him why. Feminine laughter. The beep of a heart monitor. The beeping melting into the song Starian by Banya. He didn't even speak Korean, but he loved that song, originally mistaking it to have been starry-eyed. Other voices raised in alarm, and then a red room. A womb? There was a pulsing sound, warmth, and an indefinable quality of safety. Mike felt enclosed, but not trapped. He heard hoarse singing, and it drew him to crawl forward. Waves crash, baby, don't look back. I won't walk away again. He knew that song. It was Circle in the Sand. His mother sang that song with him while the radio played, driving to find the bar that his father had been patronizing. But that was not the alto voice of his mama. He crawled forward through the red tunnel, and he came into a room covered in soft black feathers and black lace. And he found the singer. No surprise, the croak was his princess's voice. She was wearing a tied bathrobe that had fallen open. Baby, anywhere you go, we are bound together. I begin, baby, where you end. Some things are forever. And her voice broke. She was wearing a lace camisole beneath her robe. Her eyes opened and she began to weep from relief. He crawled into her arms and she chirruped and cawed at him. I love you the very best, she said in Japanese, and covered his face with kisses. You said the L word, Mike replied. I can do it here. You're dreaming, my love. In your dreams, I am bound by nothing. Why am I dreaming? That fat coon bitch poisoned her pussy to get at us. Oh, we underestimated her treachery. But there will be vengeance, Mike. They'll pay in blood and pain. Could you rape a woman if you hated her enough? Mike pulled back. God, no! I can never. Even my enemies don't deserve that. Kurama nodded. You're better than me. It's why I love you. When will I wake up? Eager for vengeance, my love? Good. But first, give me some sugar, baby. Mike kissed her deeply. Poisoned pussy is fucking evil, he said. I want to hurt her. Yes, Mike. Fuck her with regicide. Kill her pussy first. Mike blanched. No, regicide isn't meant for that. Its purpose is defending my princess and my family. Again, that's rape. I cannot do that. Right. No rape, no vaginal trauma, Kurama agreed. How about impaling her as a warning? How about a sound thrashing as a warning? Mike suggested. If they die, they don't learn. Kurama nodded at him and gave a short laugh. Well, that's right. We don't want to exterminate the Tanuki. We want to subjugate them. How wise you are. Oh, no price is worth losing you. Kurama kissed him again. About waking up, he said. Oh, that. Yes, just open your eyes. So he did.